Hi, Christoph here. Here's an update on where I am with wireframes for the JoinMarket UI. You may already know some of this, but I'll try to summarize it again. So let's say I land on the JoinMarket on my local installation of JoinMarket. I would get some type of onboarding experience first. Here's that simple logo that I came up with, or that's just more of a concept. This polar rows where it looks like it's just overlapping shapes, but it's really just one single line. Then once you get started, there would be some type of onboarding experience, but I'm not thinking about that too much right now because we first kind of need to figure out what the actual UI looks like, and then this onboarding should explain those key elements. Then the wallet, connecting to a wallet and funding the wallet is also not really considered here at this moment. I was just focusing on other things like how we communicate in your balance, how we communicate this privacy level. Here's one of the earlier concepts here where it breaks down my balance by kind of UTXO groupings and different privacy levels. So I have 0.21 worth of Bitcoin of UTXOs with the worst privacy level. This could be anonymity set 20 and lower, and so forth. And then there's my overall privacy level, and I have an option to improve that. Simplifying that even further would be some level that says, okay, I'm at 72. Whatever the details of that mean, we could have an option to expand this to get a better explanation. And then it also tells me how much I can currently spend with very good privacy. So if I'm comfortable with that amount, then I don't need to do anything. But I feel like this is not enough for my casual spending or spending that I'm planning to do, then I need to improve this. And I just came up with these colors here to indicate this level so it's easier to recognize later. Then first time I go to the mix panel, and I'm still calling it mix. Regarding the name, I was wondering if we should just use the word name, the word join. It is called join market. So if we call these join transactions, it would just be very directly connected to the name of this application, which might make it nice and simple. So it could be called join. Then I would say create a join transaction or join your Bitcoin with those of others, something along those lines. Ideally, and you've seen this before, there's the recommended transaction. So the application scans the order book and finds out, okay, there are very good orders here that match kind of your balance. You have a lot of UTXOs with low anonymity, around 0.1 Bitcoin. There's some good orders here. This is a good one for you. It's going to improve your privacy level by 12, which would then, put me at 84, which sounds pretty awesome. So I could pick one of these and I could continue. I could expand them, and maybe I would see a breakdown of the different participants here. I'm not really sure what we could show about them. One thing that I was wondering is with the fidelity bonds, how we could communicate that. I think fidelity bonds is a super complex term. So I was just wondering if we could call this a dedicated participant, a long-term participant, something along those lines, and then in contrast to a short-term participant, somebody who's not dedicated to this application. But I'm trying to avoid introducing new terms here and just have a description that people could just understand without reading up on anything. And then, I could maybe see here what type of participants I'm dealing with. If we want to allow people to create their own custom transactions, ideally, I think the amounts could also be standardized. So I pick one of these here, or I can type in another one. If I understand correctly, then it's better for the market if people pick the same amounts, making it easier to find partners. Recipient address, to be honest, I don't totally get that one. I thought you just sent to yourself. So maybe somebody can explain that one to me. And then, once I have made some transactions, I would see my history here. I could see the ones that are pending. And this would be the transaction details as they are pending. Haven't really fleshed this out because I'm not totally sure what information should be shown here. Then in the Earn tab, could also be just called Market, for example, where I'm becoming a market participant, a market facilitator. It tells me how I can do this, deposit Bitcoin. And one thing I introduced here was again with the fidelity bonds, is I can make short-term and long-term deposits. The long-term deposit then would count towards this somehow with this fidelity bond system. I don't totally understand how it works, but just try to visualize it in a simple way and we can work through the details. So I can either make my short-term deposits or long-term deposits. Maybe there's kind of a simple guideline where if it's more than 1 month, it's long-term. If it's less, it's short-term, something like that. And I can change them. And then I would get a modal that allows me to withdraw and deposit. And now I'd see my transaction history here below with any ones that are active. I can click them to get the details. So that's kind of where I am with this. I also had a couple of questions here. If I look at these screenshots, I roughly understand the point of mixed. I understand the point of mixed steps, but I don't understand why, as a user, I should have to deal with this at all. So I'm wondering, can this just be hidden altogether? Like, isn't there a simple system where it will just create new addresses for me as needed? It seems like something very simple to detect where we can just hide this functionality altogether. Then with these settings, the settings page here, it seems like it's really just a long list of all the different properties. So I'm wondering which ones are the ones that a user really should be aware of. And for those, what guidance can we provide? And then the other ones, we could still make them accessible, but just a little bit more hidden. I was also wondering if the term policy here is correct, pay join. Those could all just be separate tabs. It would be great to have proper labels here. And maybe some of those are not actually just text inputs. Maybe they are just some, true, false here. Could just be simple toggles. I don't think it's super priority to figure out the settings, but if there are some important ones that people really should be aware of, we might want to highlight those, maybe even during the onboarding. And then here I was wondering, this recipient address as before, this is really important, number of counterparties, how do I make a rational decision as somebody who doesn't use this regularly? Do we even need to highlight this or have it kind of in the advanced options? Mixed depth, also wondering, can this be auto-detected? If not, how do I, as a user, make a decision around this? So these are kind of my options. Also not totally sure on how this works with multiple joins and schedule file and tumble schedules. I'd be curious if somebody could record a video of that. I'd be kind of curious to hear. So thanks for listening to me here. Looking forward to your feedback. Thanks.